Dr. Eleanor Monroe was a respected psychiatrist who had worked with trauma patients for over 2 decades. She was known for taking on difficult cases, domestic abuse survivors, war veterans, and ex-convicts trying to reintegrate into society. She owned a large colonial home in the quiet Firestone Park neighborhood in Akron, where she rented out the basement to make extra income. In July 2018, she listed the unit on Craigslist. A man named Caleb Rowe responded. He was soft-spoken, polite, and presented himself as a man trying to rebuild after being released from prison. He claimed he'd served time for a nonviolent drug offense. He paid in cash, always on time, and never caused noise or trouble. Ellie, who believed in rehabilitation and second chances, accepted him without much hesitation. Ellie's coworkers noticed her absence on Monday, October 8, 2018. At first, they assumed she had taken a personal day. By Wednesday, concerned colleagues contacted the police. Officers did a wellness check and found her house locked. Her car was in the driveway. There were no signs of forced entry. Inside, everything looked untouched. The kitchen smelled faintly of old coffee. Her bedroom was neat. Her laptop sat open, half an email typed. But there was no sign of Ellie. Police interviewed neighbors. One neighbor mentioned seeing her with a younger man on Sunday afternoon, loading something into the trunk of her car. Another neighbor added that the man lived in the basement, but they didn't know his name. He was quiet, almost invisible. Police knocked on the basement door. No answer. When they forced it open, they found the room empty. Clothes gone, mattress stripped. Caleb Rowe had vanished. The Akron PD ran Caleb's name through their system. What came back was not just a minor drug offense. Caleb Rowe had served 8 years in the Chillicothe Correctional Institution for aggravated assault and false imprisonment. His file mentioned multiple psychiatric evaluations, all citing sociopathic behavior and a charismatic manipulative streak. He had been released 6 months earlier due to prison overcrowding. No halfway house would take him. He'd been couch surfing before finding Ellie's listing. What police didn't know, what even Ellie hadn't known, was that he'd lied on the rental application. The name Caleb Rowe had been slightly altered to CJ Rowan, and no background check had been run. On October 12th, a hiker in the Cuyahoga Valley National Park noticed a strong, foul odor near an embankment off an unmarked trail. Hidden beneath a pile of leaves and branches was a large black contractor bag. Inside, a decomposing body wrapped in a floral bedsheet. Dental records confirmed it was Ellie Monroe. Cause of death: blunt force trauma to the head. Time of death was estimated between Sunday evening and Monday morning. The medical examiner also found defensive wounds on her forearms and ligature marks on her wrists. Also found at the scene: a cigarette butt with DNA and a fast food receipt time-stamped 30 minutes after Ellie's estimated time of death. The name on the order: C. Rowe. A manhunt for Caleb J. Rowe began immediately. A national BOLO, be on the lookout, alert was issued. Over the next few days, sightings came in from bus stations and rest stops between Ohio and West Virginia. He was hitchhiking, staying in cheap motels, using cash only. On October 17th, he was captured in a Greyhound bus terminal in Charleston, West Virginia. A security guard recognized him from a wanted poster and called it in. When arrested, Caleb was calm. In his bag were 2 fake IDs, a burner phone, and Ellie's necklace. In court, Caleb pled not guilty. His defense claimed the murder was not premeditated and argued mental illness played a role. The prosecution painted a chilling picture: a manipulative man who charmed his way into a vulnerable woman's home and killed her when she threatened to evict him after discovering his real record. Texts retrieved from Ellie's phone showed her growing uneasy in the last week of her life. One draft email to a friend read, "Something about him is off. He says the right things, but I feel watched, like I'm living with a shadow." The jury deliberated for 5 hours. Caleb Rowe was convicted of first-degree murder, kidnapping, and abuse of a corpse. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. After the trial, Ellie's sister launched the Monroe Initiative, a nonprofit focused on landlord-tenant safety and background check reform. It advocated for mandatory, low-cost screenings for private landlords, and better reentry programs for ex-convicts. Caleb Rowe never expressed remorse. In a rare prison interview years later, he said only, "She looked right at me and didn't see me. That's her mistake."